Here in the upstate, we've lived with years of low country representation where they felt like their constituents were in the Tidewater, Columbia, and occasionally Greenville. It is great that you're here today. We'd like to know a little bit more about where you're from, and we'll start with that, and then we're going to follow up with some more questions.
Wow, good history, good history. When I think about my family's history, being fifth generation senator, there's a picture of Colonel Swales that hangs in the State House. And Colonel Swales fought in the Civil War. And Colonel Swales is my grandmother's great-grandfather from Williamsburg County. And my grandfather, Reverend John Pendarvis, who pastored in South Carolina over 50 years with the United Methodist Church, met my grandmother in King Street. And he was there because he was organizing African-American Boy Scout troops. And they met there. And they moved to Fountain Inn, South Carolina, where they had 3 children. And my dad was a school teacher at Bryson Elementary. And he met my mother. And we reside in Taylor, South Carolina, a small community right outside of Greer, if you've heard of it. Mm-hmm. And we were brought up going to church on Sunday, and it was kind of difficult because we lived right beside my dad's parents. And on Sunday morning, they made sure we were in Sunday school. And I still think about those times where those preachers would come over after Sunday, and I'd always get the little piece of chicken. I never got the big piece of chicken. But growing up, it was crystal clear that my uncle and grandfather, along with my dad, started our funeral home, and we've been serving people for more than 50 years. But simultaneously, my dad was a school teacher. And he instilled in me and my brother and sister the values that we had to go out and get an education to prepare ourselves. So after college at Payne College, a little small college in Augusta, Georgia, but makes big champions and big heroes, I went over to Claflin University where my mother graduated, and I was a recruiter. And I toured the state recruiting students to college. And I was one of the first recruiters for the Call Me Mister program to try to get young African-American men into teaching education. From there, I moved back to Greenville because I saw that there was a lack of participation in the upstate with students going to HBCUs. So we started the HBCU Football Classic that garnered students from all across the state to a football classic, but we always attached the college fair to it so students could see the colleges and then go have entertainment. From there, this guy called me one day. His name was Joe Biden, and said, "Will you consider working on my political campaign?" So I was Joe Biden's political director in South Carolina. That was his second run. And became good friends with Beau Biden, who was one of the great champions of this time. And then went to work as senior vice president of Payne College in Augusta, Georgia. And that's why I know Greenwood. I can tell you from the bypass to going down through McCormick, seeing the sawmill, I know all these roads like the back of my hand. I hope that restaurant's still downtown that makes fresh Kool-Aid every day. But being grounded in knowing South Carolina, I've seen just about every part of the state. Mm-hmm. And yes, Greenville is busting out the seams. But that's why I'm in this race, because of, as we see growth, you got somebody putting tariffs on stuff, not wanting people to have a good paying job, but wanting people to stay where they're at. And that's why I'm in this race, because I'm led by my faith, but I'm also led by decency. The decency to get a good paying job, the decency to get a good education, the decency to graduate college without $100,000 debt on top of you, the decency to be able to go visit your grandparents or your uncles and aunts in a place with a good quality life. Over here at Lake Greenwood, the decency to be out there and go and have a good time with your family, swim and see people fish. This is what America's about, and this is what South Carolina's about. Being able to go from the mountains to the ocean, being able to go to the inland, being able to go to Aiken and see them ride them horses, and them some strong people to jump up on them horses like that. But it is about what grounds us as people, our decency, and our willingness to work together. And I can't think of a better place to be this Saturday morning than in Greenwood, South Carolina, talking to you fine people, and I thank you for being here.